Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen, coming to you live. We got another good show for you today. I posted across all social media this morning about the meeting about the rockfish closure that's going to go off. We're going to have an opportunity to call in on Sunday. So I'll get the number for you and we'll get all that going. If you haven't seen the post I put it up across all social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You guys got to go check it out, look at it, get registered to make that phone call. If you're articulate and you can talk, we'd love that. Also, I put up the director at wildlife.ca.gov to send in your emails to let them know that this rockfish closure is absolutely going to devastate a epic amount of people, from the sport fishing industry to the mom and pop businesses around all the marinas, donut shops, fuel docks, gas stations, companies that sell ice. Everything and everybody will be affected. This is going to have a huge economic effect on the state of California. I don't know why they don't understand that, but we all have a chance to talk about it. So we're going to do the best we can, get the word out. And today is Opsinusa Thursday. We always talk about Opsin products on Thursday, and we're going to talk about fishing artificial reefs today. We're going to get off of the negativeness of the closures of the rockfish. We're going to do some fun stuff, talk about fishing artificial reefs. But first of all, check out Opsin. Go to Opsinusa and check out this fluorocarbon. Like I always say, if you absolutely have to get bit, it absolutely has to be Opsin. The main reason why I love Opsin is because it's clear. Clear fluorocarbon makes all the sense in the world to me. If you can see it, if it's pink or green or yellow or orange or whatever color they're selling you, they colored it because that's what catches people. If you can see the color, the fish can see the color. Clear. This is clear fluorocarbon. Opsin is coming off the spool clear. There's a reason for that. The whole reason why we're using fluorocarbon is hopefully for the opportunity to get a bite. We don't want colored fluorocarbon going into the water. We don't want colored fluorocarbon going on the end of our rods. We don't want colored fluorocarbon being tied to our hooks. We just don't want it because it doesn't make any sense. No common sense and no sense. But I know you like your colors, and the reason you like your colors is because you like color. But it has nothing to do with getting bit. Clear is always going to be the go-to, and Opsin makes clear fluorocarbon. That's why I use it, and that's why a lot of people in the industry use it. Opsinusa, go over there, put in the code YSWG. You're going to save on your order. You're going to get this shipped straight to your house, and you're going to want to have it, especially with what just happened today and yesterday with this phenomenal amount of wind that just came ripping through our SoCal Bite. It's going to have a massive effect on the fish right now because of the fact that the water is going to roll over. I mean, we had a huge cold front come through. Like a lot of you woke up this morning probably going, what the heck happened? It's colder than I've seen it in a very, very long time. We had snow in San Diego. We had snow in the Laguna Mountains. We had snow, Big Bear, Idlewild. A lot of snow, totally different weather pattern than what we've had for the last 5 months. That's going to have a giant effect on the ocean. The water is going to be very cold when you leave tomorrow morning. When you go to your saltwater guide and you check out the game plans and you go, holy moly, Dave's talking. The water temperature dropped. We're not really positive how much it dropped because it's still blowing right now and it's not done. And it's going to blow for a few more hours this afternoon, and then it's going to try to calm down. It should be nice tomorrow. If you follow our game plans, you know what I'm talking about. Go to yoursaltwaterguide.com. You want to have a plan when you go fishing. But the reason we're talking about this water temperature is because it's going to be harder now to get a bite because the water temperature dropped. The fish are going to be in shock. And we're going to go back to what we talked about last winter and what we've been talking about the last few years. When the water gets cold, it's time to start to learn how to fish all these artificial reefs. One thing about these artificial reefs that a lot of you don't understand, they were built by you and I, by our fishing licenses money. that we spent over all these years, that fishing license money went to building these artificial reefs up and down the California coast. Well, now it's time to learn how to fish the artificial reefs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a whole series over at Your Saltwater Guide about fishing artificial reefs and how to properly fish them. Also, I give you all the GPS numbers for all the reefs up and down the Southern California coast that were all made with our fish and wildlife license money. All the fishing license money was, at one time, it was allocated to build these artificial reefs up and down the California coast. Plus, Russ Iser spent a lot of his own money building the artificial reefs outside of Huntington Harbor, between Huntington Harbor and Huntington Beach. The Iser's reefs, he spent a lot of his money, and he also got to use a lot of fish and game money when he built those reefs. But this artificial reef project starts out up in Santa Monica Bay and ends down at the Mexican border, and there's artificial reefs strung out all over the place. And it's a great resource that we have for when these kind of things happen, when this water temperature drops. And now it's time to start to learn how to fish for the fish that live here in Southern California. Those of you that only like to fish for big bluefin and only like to fish for Dorado, you're very, very disappointed come the next couple of months, because we got a lot of cold fronts coming through, and you're not going to have that opportunity. Plus, it's going to get dark very, very early come Sunday morning when you set your clocks back. And all that is going to change how you go bluefin fishing and how you go offshore, because you're not going to have that extra time to go look around. That's why it's going to be crucial to learn how to fish these artificial reefs in Southern California. And we, like I said, over at Your Saltwater Guide, I have a whole series, but a lot of you still are on the fence about, hey, should I go over there to Dave's website? I'd rather be involved in people's websites that don't fish for a living. I'd rather give them my hard-earned money than to give it to a guy like Dave who fishes every single day for a living. So I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and just listen to him when he does his seminars every day and try to pick the pieces out that I could use. Well, today's going to be a great day to pick pieces out if you don't want to go over there and actually sign up for the website. So when you go out to fish these artificial reefs up and down the Southern California coast, the number one thing I always tell everybody is bring a bunch of chum. If it's a chum bucket, or if it's a bunch of chopped up squid, or if it's a bunch of chopped really fine sardines or small anchovies chopped up into like a little mush, and start to sprinkle that into the water. It's going to change what you fish for on these artificial reefs. It's going to help you out tremendously. It's going to help out. The whole thing works together in a big prey density. The whole thing works. That artificial reef works as a giant nursery for the fish. And when you have a nursery for the fish, you have the bigger fish coming in there to lay their eggs in the nursery. And these are the fish that we're going to try to focus on. All your sargo and sheephead and calico bass and sand bass are all going to these artificial reefs to lay their eggs and to go in there and spawn and make little baby fish. And you want to be over there involved in that whole process, so that when they do decide to eat some bait, you're going to have your bait right there and you're going to be ready to catch them. That's why I try to teach everybody how to fish these artificial reefs, because it matters. It's fun and it matters, and it's going to make, you're going to go, I had no idea there was this many fish in Southern California. You're going to be shocked by the amount of fish that you're going to find on these artificial reefs. You're going to be shocked at how much fun fishing these artificial reefs are. You're going to want to fish lighter line, like some Opsinusa Fluorocarbon, some 20-pound, with a very small sliding sinker and a very small thin wire mustad or some other type of hook, thin wire hook with a very small strip of squid on that. And you're going to be able to catch sargo, sheephead, sand bass, calico bass. And many, many times when we're fishing these artificial reefs, all of a sudden we get a flash on the sea bass show up, or A school of yellowtail will show up because we're increasing the prey density level as we're chumming on these artificial reefs. And all the fish in the ocean are going to come by the artificial reef eventually. They're either coming in there to lay their eggs or coming in there to eat, because what do the artificial reefs support? They support bait, and that's food. There'll be sardines in there. There'll be jack smelt in there. There'll be mackerel in there. All these artificial reefs are just unbelievable, the amount of life that they have on them. But most people don't even go in there and check them out. Where are they? Well, that's a great question. I have all the numbers for all the artificial reefs on our website at yoursaltwaterguide.com. But the really unique thing about yoursaltwaterguide.com, besides just numbers for these spots, I teach you how to fish them. I teach you where to anchor on the reef, because everything matters. You need to know where to anchor on the reef. You need to know how to fish when you're on the reef. You need to know how to chum. You need to know how to read the current. And all these things matter, gang, and they matter so much. It's all part of the big recipe of fishing in Southern California. I'm with you. I would love to catch wahoo, dorado, yellowfin tuna, bluefin year-round in Southern California, but that's not the fishery in Southern California. We got blessed this year with that dorado. Historic amount of dorado showed up, but that's not how it is, gang. You got to learn how to fish these artificial reefs. You got to learn how to fish these rocks up and down the coast, because you got to make your boat payment year-round. You got to pay for the storage for your boat or your dockage. You got to pay for your insurance. So why don't you learn how to fish for the fish that live in Southern California? What a great thing. Go light, fish light line, fish your little spinning rods that you use for trout, fish your little bass rods with light line, a soft tip, small strip of squid, small sliding sinker. You're going to have the time of your life. Plus, it's a great way to introduce your children to fishing. Now it's time to start to tone it down. We're going into the winter. I'm telling you, there's a bunch of cold fronts stacked up. If you start to look at weather and you start to read weather, we're in a new pattern that we haven't seen for quite a while. And this pattern is going to bring that water temperature down, and it's going to be imperative that you learn how to, unless you just don't want to fish. I can't imagine that. If you love fishing, that you're just not going to fish until the pelagic fish show up again, maybe next year in June or July or August, when they start to show up offshore. Oh, we like to fish kelp patties. Well, that sucks, because we have so much cool fish to fish for in Southern California while we wait for the kelp patties to come. Plus, it'll help you hone your skills. If you can start to learn how to pick these fish off on the artificial reefs, when you do decide to go back offshore fishing for the pelagics, everything's going to be so much easier, because you're going to learn how to read conditions. You're going to learn how to cast. You're going to learn how to set the hook. You're going to learn all these things about fishing that you don't really get to learn when this offshore fish is going on, and you just pull some line off your reel, drop your sardine in the water, and a dorado eats it. Or you drive around at 14 knots with the Mac behind the boat, and a bluefin jumps on it. You're not really learning how to fish. Yeah, you get to wind in a fish. Well, I learned how to wind them in. That's great. Now it's time to learn how to fish. Now it's time to learn how to fish these rock piles, or what I call artificial, or what you all call artificial reefs. If you don't want to go over to my website, here I'm going to give you guys some pointers on how to start to identify these artificial reefs and where they are. Right now, every piece of structure in Southern California has got a huge mark on it, a huge marker. It's called a lobster trap. They're all marked with lobster traps. You'll be able to find every piece of structure up and down the Southern California coast, because they're marked with these lobster traps. Everybody has their lobster traps out still right now. Yeah, they're out there because lobsters are going off at like $24 or $28 a pound, or maybe more. I'm not positive. I don't really know the numbers, but I know that it's good right now. And I know that there's a phenomenal amount of guys fishing lobsters, but they're marking all the spots for the rest of us. So if you don't want to go over to my website and get the spots over there, if you just want to go out and figure it out on your own, like the experts on Insta and TikTok tell you, then here's a great way to start to help yourself figure it out on your own. You can start going out there and marking these rock piles and marking these hard bottoms. Drive around that lobster trap. Don't drive over it. Don't get it caught in your propeller, but drive around it. Start marking all these spots. This is free right now. They're giving you all the spots you didn't even know existed because you're not a member of my website. So now you're going out on your boat and you're just starting to identify all the spots, but now you got to learn how to fish them. Do you want to do that on your own? Or you can take the curve out of it. You can go to my website and you can learn how to rig to catch the fish on the artificial reef. You can learn the bait that they like to eat. You can learn how to chum on the artificial reef to increase the prey density level in the water so that you can start to get these fish to start to eat. And all these things matter, and all this stuff is so much fun. And it's so much fun to go anchor up on one of these rock piles in the middle of the winter when no one else is out there. And remember, we're going to have some spectacular days. Remember, after Thanksgiving, we usually get that Santa Ana and the ocean's super flat. Water will be freezing cold, but it'll be flat. And if you learn how to fish these artificial reefs now, you're going to have a great time with your children going out to these artificial reefs and picking fish off in the middle of the winter time and taking these cold water sargo and calico bass and sand bass home and filleting them up and eating them. There's nothing better than a cold water calico fillet. Oh my God, that meat's so white and so tender and so good. And a big old sargo. Catfishing sargos is a blast. And all that is just waiting for you. It's all setting there up and down the coast. There's so many artificial reefs that are just a plethora of fish that are just waiting for you to get out there and fish for them. Chaser, how are you, buddy? So you want to learn how to do all this, and now's the time of year. I wish that the water didn't roll over, and I wish that it wasn't freezing right now, but you're going to all go, oh my gosh, I've never seen it this cold. It's going to be very, very cold tomorrow morning when you go out on your boat. You're going to see a temperature on your photometer that you've never seen before. You're going to see those 50, 55, 54s. I'm just saying, there's a very good chance that that water took a massive hit because you know how cold it is right now at your house. You haven't seen that in a very long time. Well, that cold air is howling out there on the ocean right now. It's blowing 25 knots between Catalina and Clemente, right? I mean, Catalina and the beach, between Catalina and Palos Verdes. Right this second, I'm looking at windy.com, and it's blowing. And it's blowing super cold water. That's why it snowed up in the hills. So, gang, take advantage of this. Go learn how to fish those artificial reefs. It'll change your life. It'll be so much fun. You'll have a really good time learning how to fish the artificial reefs, and it will help you in the long run when you go out on your private boat to go Dorado fishing or bluefin fishing or yellowtail fishing or whatever you're hoping that's going to happen here next season. When you hone your skills on the artificial reefs and learn how to start to fish those things and learn how to cast accurately and learn how to set the hook accurately, then the rest of the fish are going to be easy to catch. But mastering these artificial reefs are going to help you out tremendously. I promise you that. Gang, don't forget to watch tomorrow. Tomorrow, probably tomorrow morning, we'll have that phone number. We'll put it up like we put that meeting up this morning across all social media. Gang, if you make your living fishing in Southern California, or if you just enjoy fishing in Southern California, what they have on the docket here should scare the living bejesus out of you. They are going to take away fishing in California. If you don't believe that, then you need to wake up. I don't have time to argue with the uneducated. I already had a couple of uneducated human beings jump on my post this morning, and I don't have time to educate people right now. We're in a fight that you can't even comprehend right now to save sport fishing in California, in the whole state. If you don't see what they're trying to do, gang, it has nothing to do with fish. It doesn't. It has to do with control and scaring you and making you think that there's no fish left in the ocean. The only reason you can't catch fish is because you don't know how to fish, or you suck, or you're unable to learn. But if you don't think this is what's about to happen here, I'm sorry. And if you just think you can sit on your hands and well, someone else will help us and take it. Well, no one else is going to help us. They're all scared to death to talk. They're afraid of the enviros. They're afraid of everybody. Everyone's afraid to say a word. That's why I can't understand why you don't see any of this on social media from anybody but me. I'm the only one sounding the alarm. I don't understand it. So you guys, everybody in the sport fishing industry should be sharing every single thing that I put out the last 3 days. And this meeting that's happening right now in Garden Grove at the Hyatt, it's on my social media page. You should all pay attention. You should all register to get to talk on Sunday. That's our day to talk about this rockfish closure. But if you look at the docket, there's a whole bunch of stuff on there that is going to directly affect all of you fishing in California. I don't care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't like rockfish. This has nothing to do with rockfish, and this sure the hell has nothing to do with me. Gang, I live in Mexico. I'm just trying to help all of you because I have the passion of fishing. When I come up to Southern California, I would love to go fish with you. I would love to go rockfish fishing. I would love to go calico bass fishing. I would love to just go fishing. They are going to take that away from you if you don't wake up. And we the people, this is what I don't get. We the people, right? We the people. I don't care if you're left, right, middle. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. We the people. It's about us. They're going to take away they've already taken quite a bit of it away, and we've all just sucked our thumb and stood on the sidelines. I think it's time for everybody to get involved. I really, really do. I hope you get involved. I don't know why the tackle shops are. I don't know why the tackle manufacturer. I don't know why everybody isn't sounding the alarm. With the way social media works today, people win elections by social media. Things get changed on the planet Earth by social media. I don't think people understand how important social media is, but you're all watching this. Share. Go grab that meeting and share it with everybody you know. You all, let's just say you all are very successful on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and you have lots of followers. Share this with everybody. Share this with all your followers. It matters, gang. I don't care if you like me. I don't really care. It's not my deal. I've never really cared about if people like me or not. I'm the same guy that's been telling the same truth for the last 40 years. Hurt a lot of people's feelings. The truth hurts. But gang, this one's gonna kill the sport fishing industry in California. It is. So pay attention, wake up. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Look for the phone number tomorrow morning. I'm told we're going to get the phone number, but you got to register. You got to go over there and you got to register. I put out all the information to register. It's on every social media platform that I have, and I'm on everything. Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You guys go over and just go click on one of my social media. Go to YouTube. If you're afraid of Facebook and TikTok and Insta, go to YouTube and look. I posted it there too. This meeting is essential to us all be a part of and try to at least get a couple of seconds of speaking time to talk about this and how important fishing is to our families and how the economic impact that this is going to have is devastating. All right, gang, I'll be here again for you tomorrow. We'll do everything we can to help you. I'm not going to go down sucking my thumb. I'm not going to go down sitting on my hands. And I'm hoping that you all feel the same way. Bye.